it up for us.
Oh, yes. Afternoon, Judge, Commissioners.
Afternoon.
Yes, Judge, I know you sent out an email about the budget workshops, but with the murders, the officer-involved shootings we've had over the past month, I've been kind of in and out.
No trouble. No trouble.
On that note, though, the one we talked about, the officer-involved shooting, he was paralyzed. and
Yes.
So we were looking at 3 or 4 months where it was gonna cost more. Actually, I got plea papers to his defense attorney today, and so he should be pleading Monday. And then
Great.
we'll ship him out probably, hopefully in a couple weeks. So
That'd
we
be
won't be
terrific.
looking at what we thought we were looking at.
Terrific.
Outstanding.
So you guys know, you all may know that we had a guy that was arrested, allegedly shooting at one of our guys, and we shot him, and he's paralyzed, required around-the-clock care. And so our district attorney's office is hustling up that prosecution and getting him moved out as quickly as possible, I guess, to a state facility.
Yes, sir. They have a medical facility. TDC has a medical facility in Galveston. They have one in Lubbock. They probably have about 2 more across the state.
Okay.
But they're equipped, they can care for him. Currently, we are giving them 24-hour care, but that's been about the last 7 or 8 days, and then maybe 2 more weeks he can be gone. So,
Thank you for your help with that.
You say alleged shooting, is that?
yeah, he's being PC. You watch the video, it's,
I see.
I saw the video, but I guess I didn't see it close. All right.
so I appreciate y'all making time for me this afternoon, Judge and Commissioners. As you each know, I've talked to y'all individually over the past couple months about a real disparity that we have in the office, especially as far as our prosecutors go. And when I submitted my budget this year, I included some of those numbers. I think I talked to each one of you about the salary survey that TDCAA did, and then I visited with Judge Sims, but he wanted to see more specifically East Texas. I went back and I contacted, either got online or contacted the county auditors of all or most of the counties in East Texas. And I don't know if you remember, but the survey that TDCA came up with put the average starting salary across the state, and that's big counties, small counties, at 71.6. Ours is 58. And then when I went back and looked at East Texas at Judge Sims's request, I didn't do an average, but every single county in East Texas was higher. Panola County was even as high as 91,000. Houston County was 68 to 76,000. They're about a third of our size. And Fannin County, Fannin County, which is about half our size, was 81,000 to 97,000. But y'all have all those numbers in your packet, so I'm not going to bore you with going through them. I just wanted to highlight some examples. So, I mean, look at those at your leisure. If you don't have them, I did make extra copies for y'all.
If you got, when you did your breakdown, if you got the actual number of employees in each office in these different counties, because when you talk about small counties, you know, there's no way they got 5 or 6. They've got a DA, and do they have a DA in 1 or 2, or do they have a DA in 8? Or?
So there are some counties that I was able to confirm what they had, like San Augustine County I looked at, they don't have any assistant county or district attorneys, so it's just a DA who makes the state minimum. And then Shelby County, I even listed unknown salary for specific positions. I know that, for instance, Panola County just has 1 ADA. I think they have been slotted for 2, but it's not filled. I don't know if they plan on filling it, but I know from talking to just different DAs around East Texas, I know Nacogdoches has a comparable office to ours. Angelina actually does. They're a little bit bigger. Bowie County has, I think, 9. They're a little bit bigger than we are. So we have 7 ADAs. Greg had 18 ADAs, and they've cut that down to, I think, 14. So they're about twice our size. And then I know that Cass County has 2 ADAs. Billy Bird in Upshur, he's got 5 ADAs. But no, I don't know specifically which I didn't go to all those counties and find that information out.
How many do we have?
We have 7 ADAs, and then me.
You have 7 positions or 7 current?
7 positions. No.
How many do you have currently?
I have 4. That'd be Madison, Miranda, and felony. James is handling all the misdemeanors by himself, and then, of course, Bob doing our appellate work and our civil stuff in Commissioner's Court. I have, for the summer, an intern who has what's called a 3L bar card. So she's able to practice law under the supervision of a licensed attorney. But she's only here for about another month. She's going back. I anticipate she'll come back to us next summer when she graduates. But so we've just got the 4 right now. And so what I proposed in my budget, and there's a little letter that I submitted to kind of explain what I was trying to do. What I would like to do is, much like you see in the sheriff's office or the police department, or even the attorney general's office. So in the sheriff's office, you have patrolmen, sergeants, lieutenants, captains, okay, with different responsibilities, different experiences. Currently, what we're doing is paying across the board the same, and to the extent it's different, as y'all well know, I do that through salary supplements, either through a PTD fund or the asset forfeiture fund, to try to make it even so I can retain talent, so I can try to draw talent. And so what I proposed is breaking it down the following that you see in here, where I'm slotted for 2 positions as misdemeanor ADAs, and those salaries, that salary range, it's using our step and grade system. I got with Sherilyn on it to use our step and grade system, but that amounts 67.2 to 73.3. And regardless, I have their 0 to 2 years experience, but regardless, even if you were a misdemeanor prosecutor for 5 years, that's just what it pays. So if you want to make more, then you move up and you aspire to be a felony prosecutor. And I did this because, as I spoke to each one of y'all, I know as stewards of our taxpayer dollars, and they're precious to us, but you want to be able to say, okay, I want to ensure that Reed's not maxing everybody out, which I wouldn't do, but this is, the way I did this was try to give you a little peace of mind. And then you can see 2 to 5 years experience is that step and grade is 72.3 to 71.6. Each one has 5 steps in it. And then that's the salary range. And then for a 5-year prosecutor and above, those are the steps and that's the range. And then the first assistant, well, there'd just be 1. And I want to let y'all know also that if this were adopted, if y'all did something along these lines, and we can talk about SB 22 here in just a minute, but if we could do something along these lines, the only one who would even qualify to be maxed out as an ADA 3 would be Bob Cole. He'd be the only one. Miranda's not there. Conceivably, and I did tell y'all this, I mean, yeah, I could hire 7 ADAs, all with 20 years experience, and I guess we'd be there, but that's never happening. I mean, nobody's gonna come nobody at age 45 is coming to be a ADA. They're just not. Not that many of them for sure. So it's never going to be that high. But I had to, when I drew up a budget, I had to anticipate that salary, but just so I could have the flexibility to put people into places based on their experience. Does that make sense? Okay. And what we came up with on the left is our current budget, and on the right was the proposed budget. And what Sherilyn and I did was just kind of plug in some well, I guess we just kind of, we can just make them up, but what we could imagine we would have, given our work history and stuff, what kind of experience they would have. And the difference in that we came up with was 141.8 from last year's budget, okay? And I know from talking to the judge that there's, I know there was an anticipation of something being done around 10 to 12,000, something like that. I know Mr. Hatfield and I spoke one time, that was kind of my sense. And if that was done this year, then we're talking 70 to 84,000 increase in the budget. And when you look at that, 70 to 84,000 compared to what I proposed, then that difference really is only going to be another $60 to $70,000. And if we did this, there's no more, I don't ever foresee any time where we'd ever have this sting again. Because as cost of living goes up and as other counties increase salaries, well, we're not trying to play catch up with a $10,000 deficit or $12,000 deficit or $14,000. We just adjust our step and grades and say, okay, well now ADA 2 will be a 74.5 to a 74.8, and then it covers that, and we can kind of just progress. And each budget, or not each year, but if we have to change because of cost of living adjustments, then we may only be talking, $8,000, $9,000 in the budget, $10,000 in the budget, something like that. And so, and I wanted to impress upon y'all, if you look at what I'm asking for, and you look at these salary surveys, I mean, I'm not shooting high and just seeing what I can get. I didn't, because what I'm proposing as a starting salary is actually, right out of law school, that's actually about 4,000 under what the state average is. So I'm not trying to get something out of y'all. I legitimately believe that we could get talent with these numbers. And with that being said, I know there's a question about Senate Bill 22 that was passed by both houses, signed by the governor. And that is going to provide for counties our size of 50,000 plus, which we fall squarely within, is an extra 275,000 a year for those offices. And it specifically goes towards ADAs and investigators. So, and it sounds like all you have to do is apply for it and you do get it. But year to year, we don't know if that's, if the rules are going to change on it. Are we going to be approved for it? I don't know. But what I do know from talking to other ADAs that are already $12,000 to $14,000 ahead of where we are right now, they're going to be taking that 275 and supplementing their prosecutors, and so they're still going to be that $10,000, $12,000, $14,000 ahead of us. And so I feel confident that our prosecutors are going to be better with this, and I'm grateful that Austin did this. But if we can't get this initial base salary, what the county is paying, if we can't get that competitive to them, then when they supplement their prosecutors, we're still going to be 12,000 below them. And then we're going to be right in the same position, I believe. And that's based on my conversations with them. I mean, even Cass County is starting, Courtney's starting her misdemeanor prosecutors at 65. And no, 68. No, 65. Upshur County starting at 68. So when we get our supplements and and Billy Bird's paying 68 for a starting one, and we're still paying 58, then by the time we supplement, being an Upshur County prosecutor is still more lucrative. So,
my only question is though, I mean, what you're asking for 7 positions averages about a 34% increase in salary over the office. And then you get an influx of SB 22 and you start giving that out, I mean, I haven't seen any restrictions that says how you got to spend that 250 or 275,000. I mean, you're talking about the 7 positions, you're talking about if you have to spend it, if you spend it all on those positions, you're talking about $30,000 or $35,000 supplement per employee, and now we're off the chart.
We're not even gonna be making what they're making because we're starting here, they're starting there, and they're supplementing on top, and then when we go to supplement, then we're still under them. Plus, it also pays for, I can supplement my investigators also, so that's 9 positions.
So it's
That-
not just restricted to your ADAs.
It's ADAs and investigators,
Yeah,
that's it. I can't use it for the rest of the office staff. But, I mean, if we can't get up to where we should be, and then I think we're just in the same spot next year. And yeah, the salaries look better, say they're 85 or 90,000, but say in Upshur County or Fannin County, they're 100, 105. And then we still don't get the talent we need to get. So I know that was being anticipated, at least something was being anticipated 10 to 12,000 before. And if that was the case, we're at 58, so if we're talking 68 to 70,000, then that's at least going to get us, 12,000 would put us at 70,000, which is 2,000 off that state average, and then still, I'm pretty competitive with East Texas. Then when I can add those supplements, then I think we could make it real attractive for new talent.
So you're saying if we would approve this extra additional 141,000 over last year, then you'd also take the 275 and add it on top of that?
Well, I'm saying,
Well, to those and your investigators?
yes, that would, if something along these lines, what I've proposed, if that could be passed, something, I'm not saying it has to be exactly it. I mean, I'm reasonable. I'm not trying to rake everything in. If there was something close to it, then I think that's gonna make us competitive without SB 22. And then when SB 22 does kick in and everybody starts using it, then I think we can stay with them. And it's gonna look different for each county. So some counties, Gregg County is 50 to 300,000. They have more prosecutors, so they don't get as much as much of the supplement rather, but they're already paying. I lost Taylor. She was making 63. She's making 84,000 now. So she's already 21,000 above. So they have more employees to split it up with, but their salary is already up there so much. So her, for example, she may get supplemented another $15,000, which is going to put her probably around 98, 99, 100. Does that make sense? You understand what I'm saying? So, and then there's smaller ones, like Cass County just has 2. There are 2 ADAs. Now they are under 50,000, so they get, is it 10 to 50,000? That's 175.
I can't, it's something around that number without putting my hands back on it.
I think that's right, 175 or 200. So she could conceivably, she's got 2 investigators too, but she could conceivably, her salary is 40 to 50,000 for each spot. And then, of course, even though we're supplementing, she's still above us because she started off at a better vantage point.
Do you know how long the SB 22 will be in place?
It looks indefinite. There wasn't a sunset provision that I saw on it.
The reason why I'm asking if this was implemented this way and 2 years down the road, they snatch it back, the county is stuck with something we was expecting.
Well, then we're gonna be in the same boat as every other county. So when if that were to happen and the salaries reverted back, then if we did something like this, then at least we're still gonna be competitive with them. Because
Yeah.
that gets pulled from them, gets pulled from them, gets pulled from us, then we're all still paying about the same.
It's 100,000 for counties under 10,000, 175 from 10,000 to 50,000, and then 275 from 50,000 to 300.
Okay, so she's got two ADAs, two investigators, so she's got 175,000 to spend between those, which is about, quick math, 44,000 on each one. And, you know, we wouldn't be able to spend that much on each one because we have 7 ADAs and 2 investigators.
Let me ask a question, because, you know, I'm looking at last year's slot list, and when I look across, your first assistant, but when you go across from their base salary and you start adding the longevity and local supplements, county supplements, special fund, you know, that salary goes up to 87,000. You're projected 93,000. Are we talking about a $93,000 base salary plus all the supplements on top
No.
of that?
The only supplements I expect to use, the only supplements I'm gonna use are going to be out of the PTD funds, and that's one for the misdemeanor chief and one for the first assistant for their duties with respect to the PTD fund. But all the other stuff, all the civil asset forfeiture, supplements, those are gone.
So
I mean, I won't need them.
the special fund's got almost $20,000 spent in it. And then there's another county supplement's got a little over 13,250 that's given to 3 attorneys, and then the special fund's given to 5 attorneys. So I guess that's my biggest question is, you know, the salary on the list that you're trying to attain, are these base salaries plus the supplements that go into them, or is that a combination of from 70,246 plus the supplements that's currently on the slot list makes that salary at 87,076? So that, what I'm saying is, to get to the 93,648, you're talking $6,400. So that's what in my mind, I can't get clear where we're trying to get to in total compensation when you take the supplements that's already in play.
I understand what you're,
Okay.
and to address that, Jay, Mr. Ebar, these are, what's proposed here would be the salary, period. As you know, that you supplement, I think the county supplement, that goes to Bob Cole to get his salary up because of the important work that he does. So that goes away. There's no need to do that supplement. And then there's for
The 52,
Madison,
50,
for
and 3.
Miranda, there was another one for Taylor when she was here. Those were out of the civil asset forfeiture fund. Those also would go away. I wouldn't have to pay those because we would have a set salary that's close to where it should be or at what it should be. So it's not, okay, will you do this, and then on top of that, I'm going to also give them that, and then on top of that, I'm going to give them that. So, and you know that can never happen because they can only make 90% of what I make. So that can't pay them more than me. So those supplements are just gone. The only thing that there would be was the one out of the pretrial diversion fund because our law says we can spend a percentage of their work can be supplemented with that fund, and they probably give each one probably about 10% of their monthly time with the pretrial diversion program. So that would be the only one. Everything else would stop. And then, of course, then we have the SB 22, and then that goes into effect. And, you know, I supplement that, you know, where I think it needs to go to.
I have a question for Becky. In our budget, if we were, how are we gonna show salaries knowing that we got 275,000 coming in? Would we just simply include all that in a salary, or do you think we'd have this state supplement line where we take that 275 and divide it?
We
Okay.
each of the departments are impacted by it.
So sheriff's department,
Yes.
DA's office,
I think you'd have to put it in there because you don't know if it's gonna disappear at the end of
Right.
this year or 10 years or 5 years or whatever.
that's right.
So that would be a supplement that could go away just as easy as it came as far as your budget's concerned.
So I think maybe to Jay's point, if you wanted to take that slot list and show your proposed salaries, the state supplement, the PTD supplement, and then we'd be able to see the total dollar amount you were talking about. Does that make sense?
For each position, I don't know what I would supplement anybody yet, because I'm not sure if we actually just get the 275.
You will.
But then right now, I've not decided how I'm gonna divvy that up. I need to know what the base salaries are gonna be to
So,
begin
so
with.
we approve the slot list, so we're gonna have to have that to be able to approve the slot list. So you need to spend some time thinking about how you divvy it up.
I can submit something hypothetically. So say this is approved, this is voted on and approved as is. Okay, I can tell you that, James, he's got over 2 years' experience, but he's still a misdemeanor, so I know he'd be on the high end of that. And then I know that Bob would be the high end of an 88.3, and then I can estimate where I might put the others based on their years of experience. And then yes, I could, after I have that, then yes, I could say, okay, this one and this one still get the PTD supplement. And then I can hypothetically say, okay, that I'm gonna give, 20 to this one, 25 to that one. But it wouldn't, I don't think it'd be a finalized thing, but it'd probably be close. I could do that.
Well, I guess give it your best guess. I mean, we have to approve what every salary's gonna be. So I
Okay.
don't know a way around that.
I'm just having a hard time visualizing where we're trying to get on base salary, in my mind. Because when I look across our current slot list, there's longevity supplements, and there's 2 of them that get those longevity. They don't have those years to be at that longevity. But
Now, one of them, statute here, with the state longevity,
now, well, this just says longevity supplement. I assume that's not local supplement?
no, sir, and we get reimbursed for that.
Okay, this is state driven, though? Okay.
Yes, sir, and that is statute driven that we have to give that,
Okay.
based on the years of service that they have as an ADA.
Not here,
Not
just
your
years.
years of service
Okay,
as an ADA.
okay,
So
okay. This
if
is,
you anticipate hiring someone with services in the county, we need to be aware of it so that we can budget for it. Because we need to be sure to budget for that state supplement for longevity.
But see, now, all that state supplement, and this goes before my time, that state supplement, not all of it is getting paid to ADAs and investigators.
Who's it getting paid to?
Some of it's going to support staff.
That's the allocation.
Mhm.
That's the 22.5 that you get.
Yes.
No, this is longevity supplement that is.
Oh, yes, okay, gotcha.
Y'all are talking two different things.
Yep,
so
yep,
the
yep, you're
state
right.
supplement that goes to the auxiliary, your investigators
We
and
get
your
reimbursed
senior
for that.
legal, we get reimbursed.
We get reimbursed for that.
And we get reimbursed for the state driven
We
longevity
get
supplement.
reimbursed for that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's no out of county pocket stuff.
Well, that's.
Now, for the civil forfeiture, you currently, in the current slot list, you pay $12,500 from the civil forfeiture. The, county supplement is paid $13,250, and that's paid to 3 individuals, it looks like.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, of course, the pretrial, which is paid to 2 individuals.
Right.
So, if I'm hearing you, the $12,500, which is from the forfeiture fund, that's what you're saying would no longer be spent.
That's
Correct.
23.5 from the special, isn't that the forfeiture fund we're talking about?
But included in that is also a county supplement that for the
Yes.
county attorney.
The
Yes.
county supplement. That's paid to Madison, Bob, and Miranda.
Yes.
Yes.
So would that, I mean, for Madison and Bob, are you saying that would go away? I mean, Madison and Miranda?
Yes, if this was adopted, that would fold into it. That's money that the county is already supplementing. Instead of it going to our office as a supplement, then it just becomes salary.
So just take away the supplement, call it salary. So you see, I mean, obviously this is a little confusing if we're not all able to look at it. That's why I think maybe if you took that slot list and filled in your proposed salaries, the state supplement that we're expecting to get from SB 22, any other supplements that you intend to give them, we'd be able to it'd make more sense to us, right?
Okay, I mean, I can certainly get that to you, but I just want you to understand, it's not gonna be firm, I think it'd be ballpark.
I guess we're asking you to do the best you can.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm
Sure.
saying, I will do
Sure.
that, definitely.
Do the best you can.
I just
Whatever you
need,
give us,
I
that's
need to
what
be
it
able
is.
to see what goes away and what
But
stays.
you will if you'll update that slot list.
Right, because whatever you give us, that's what it is.
Because those supplements, then, they won't be under supplement, it's just all gonna be salary. But that's not costing the county anymore, that's already an expenditure, we're just gonna call it something else.
Yep.
What stops, and this, maybe I'm being thick-headed, but what stops out of that 250,000, what stops from supplementing some of this as, out of that money from SB 22 as opposed to, cause I'm still visualizing these proposed salaries that you're trying to get to. And if we were to pass that, then here comes SB 22 for a year, or 5 years, or 10 years, or whatever. And you're talking about another 10, 15, 20,000 or whatever it is per spot, you know, and now we're out of the ballpark, in my opinion.
I understand, say it again?
When I look at these salaries that you're trying to get, that you propose to get to from your first assistant down to your low ADA 1, 2, and 2 and 3.
Uh-huh.
And these salaries that you're trying to get to says that if we vote to do this, that it's gonna cost us $141,803 increase. But of that $141,803 increase, to go get to that, how much of that is driven by the supplements that are on the current slot list that you're saying will go away? So is it a true 141,000 to get to this point, or is it 120,000, or is it 80,000?
Okay,
Because
okay.
I don't know what salaries are gonna go away, or not salary, but what supplements are gonna go away, which ones are state-driven, which ones are reimbursed. If those stay, those supplements stay, or is this, let's just take the top, which is the first assistant, and you're trying to get to 93,648, is that base, or is that total salary?
That would be base, what the county is paying.
So on top of the 93, then is these supplements added to it, plus what you're gonna supplement out of the SB 22?
Yes.
See, and that's where I'm having a hard time, because, you know, we're talking about increasing some salaries probably in the range of 50 or 60%.
But it's not, it doesn't come out of the county's expense, it's not the county's
Well,
expense.
141,000 of it is, isn't it?
Yes, but if I supplement somebody, so the easiest I think would be to say, if we talk about Bob Cole, because I can tell you he would be maxed out, so we're talking 85,600. Now, that would be his county salary. No other supplements, there's no need to supplement him anymore, the $6,000 or $7,000 that we already supplement. No need to do that, because that gets absorbed into just his salary. And that's just his flat income. Now, on top of that, he does get longevity from the state. He would also be maxed out. It's, I think 20 years maxes you out as far as your supplement, and that's an extra $5,000 that the state gives. So then that, yes, that would put him then at 90,006. Now, whatever we get from SB 22 is gonna be above and beyond that. But what I said at the beginning is, I think we still have to get here, because if our jumping off point is still lower than what they're doing in Upshur and Gregg, then when they get their supplements, I mean, they're going out, I mean, they're leaving us. And so this, I could say in Bob's case, that'd be 90,000 and change, or $91,000, okay? And I don't think he gets any of that, he doesn't get any of the state supplement, not the longevity, but the state supplement, the 22.5, he doesn't get any of that. And then I could supplement him on top of it, but I could say for sure, just looking at his, I could tell you that his would be like 90,600 is what his would be.
His base.
That would be what the county pays him. Then any supplement that he gets from SB 22 is above, I mean, it goes on top of that. But if we can't get here in, you know, these other counties, like I said, they're already paying 14,
So
15,000.
if you're getting 275,000 to split amongst 7, 90 ADAs, so let's just say 10 and make it easy on my math, it'd be 27.5. So if he's at 90, you would add maybe 27.5 to him, so he'd be at 117,000 for his new salary.
It could be in that hypo.
So I think that's,
But my question on that is, even though it's SB 22, when you increase that salary, who matches the 21% that it's gonna cost the county in retirement, social security, and Medicare tax? Because there's, I mean, that's another match on top of that supplement that nobody's saying anything about. I mean, if you give whatever you give, there's still a cost incurred to us as the county on retirement match, 6.2 on social security, and 1.45 on FICA, which, what is our retirement match? Is it 12 or 13%? Huh?
12.
What is it? So we're talking about around 20% cost to the county on top of what supplements you give outside these raises that you're trying to get to. So I mean, there's an inherent cost that we can't, that we have to make sure that we stay in our mind that, I mean, we'd love to be able to give it to you just like you asked for, just like we would Road and Bridge and the Sheriff's Department and everybody else that we met with this morning, but, you know, I think that, I don't know, maybe I'm talking too much, but I'm having a hard time visualizing.
I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But if we can't, and I think all of y'all recognize that we have to do something to try to get prosecutors here, because I've had 3 applications, 3 resumes in the last 9 months. And each time when they found out what the money was, they said, well, they're gonna go look somewhere else. And I understand, and it's a great idea for the state to do this, but yeah, I know that then it does have collateral effects. But
I don't think the state intended to max us out of what we can afford.
right,
You
I don't
know,
think they did.
And one way, and I just talked to Judge Sims about it, one way you could do that is give us the SB 22 money and we can fix your salaries.
Yeah, but that's not how it gets dispersed.
Well,
I don't,
I don't think you can.
Well, we can adjust it on our end to make it work, and that's
Well,
what
I mean,
we're
yeah,
gonna
we
have to
can
do.
adjust salaries during the budget process any way we want to, but I'm just saying, you can't, by law, you can't cut your sheriff's budget 500,000 because he's getting the SB 22 money, and you can't cut the DA's office 275,000 because he's getting,
but
SB
but the
22.
sheriff office is not asking us to do this.
well, they already have it.
Yeah.
With, well, I had not seen, but they already have it, so they have
Okay.
patrol, they have different ranks, different levels throughout the office. I mean, you wouldn't pay a 1-year patrolman the same as you would pay a 20-year patrolman or a 20-year investigator or someone has captain's responsibilities. They're not paid the same.
Okay.
And that's what I'm trying to avoid, so we're not in this trap again, and we don't have to in 4 or 5 years have to address this again, and there's a sting going, well, this is gonna cost us so much money right off the bat. If this is, something along this is approved, then we just adjust our step and grades as the years progress when the cost of living goes up.
And I don't mean, and I hate to keep beating this, but I can remember it hadn't been but about 3 years ago when you stood right there and told us that same statement. If we do this, we won't have to address it again. And here we are, 3 or 4
5
years
years
later,
ago.
whenever it
It was
was.
5 years ago, and I said
And
through
now
my,
we're in a lurch trying to adjust
it
again.
was 5 years ago, and I said through my first term, we'll never have to, I won't address this again. And I'm through my first term, and here we are, that was 18, and I've kept my word.
Well, you and I talked early on, so your ADAs are basically 58,000, and I was hopeful that we could get them about a $10,000 raise, that'd get them up to 68. Now we're talking about 117,000. That's just a massive leap. So we'll, if you would update that slot list, let us take a look at it, and we'll adjust however we're able.
But you understand, and thank you, Judge, but you understand what I'm saying, though, is it's not as massive as it appears if there was already an anticipation of, say, 70, and then what I'm talking about is, say, 40,000 above that. So if you say 110, well, you say 110,
What all county employees would like to see about just a little $40,000 raise?
in the overall budget, that's to everybody.
I take that.
That's to everybody, that's not one person. But I'm saying, if there was already this
No,
anticipation.
it was one person, it's going from 70 to 110, that's $40,000.
No, I'm saying, no, what I'm saying is if you were talking about, say, a $10,000 raise for the prosecutors, that's $70,000. And then, I propose, say, if this was adopted, an overall 120. Well, 120 looks big, but it's really only a $50,000 difference of what you anticipated you were gonna do, which was the 70,000. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to make light of it or it's no big deal. I mean, I get it, but I'm just trying to impress upon the point, it's not as much, when we say 120,000 or 130,000, it wasn't really that much because we were already gonna pay an extra, say, in this hypo, an extra 70,000. So it's 30, 40,000 on top of that, is what I'm saying.
All right, update our slot list, and we'll hit you up with some more questions when we have them.
Okay, when would y'all like that by?
Monday be fine.
I'm going out of town here.
Next week, anytime next week will be good.
I'm going out of town to go visit my brother-in-law's got stage 4 cancer. He just got a diagnosis, so. I know, it's not gonna be a good weekend for me. I'm in trial next week, so latter part of next week or first part of the following.
Yeah, we can manage that.
Okay, because we got 3 trials going and only 4 prosecutors to try them.
Okay, yep, that'll work.
All right,
Thank you, sir.
appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
Anybody else here for it's 1:30. Do I need a motion to adjourn?
No.
Moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Yes. I'm gonna
Any
have to
opposed?
wait, because I don't think I can drive home. My head's.
1:30, we're adjourned.
Yeah, but if I get home, I'll have to help.
Hatfield, Timmons.
I made it. Jeff seconded, I think.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you meant someone for
Yeah, I was just gonna let that there.
Yes, ma'am.
When do we meet again?
It's pretty simple, so you can record. We started our budget hearings today, hearing from any department that wanted to come and visit with us about their needs, what they're expecting to happen over the next 12 months. And we get a lot of requests, as you would expect. We're listening to everything, but really the final determination is going to come down to we see what our actual revenue will be. We get those numbers from the appraisal district on July 25th. So that's next week. So after we get those